So hi everyone, and we here today with Tianna, and this is the fifth episode of Breaking the Limits podcast, and I'm so excited because we bringing such a hot topic today. It's relationship with money. We was having a previous conversation like 5 minutes before we started, and we're like, what can we give? Like, what kind of value we can give? So Tianna, it's my amazing friend. I love her. She been in the industry forever as well, and I feel she been through everything, right? Right now she owns
Yeah.
a shop. She helped before to open up the school for her friend, and the school doing so amazing. It's a lash school in Texas. As you know, in Texas, you can have a lash school for 100 hours, right? Like it's a legit school, would give license.
Yeah.
So she been through a school, she been through owning a salon, she been through having a multiple lines in the salon, what she sold before,
Mm-hmm.
others. So she
Yeah.
know the topic of the money and how to make it. And she's also from different cultures. So I'm going to give the word to Tianna so she can introduce herself and say what she's doing, like how she started and why we're going to talk about
Yeah.
money today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. And first of all, that was the first time I heard your title of this podcast. And I love that because we are all about breaking these preconceived notions, breaking these habits, breaking through in our mindset, I think is so important. And so, yeah, that's like the vibe that I'm on this year. Very much I'm focusing on helping us elevate in this industry, elevating our mindset, because the more education that I've done in my career, I realize that so much of the things that I'm teaching, the foundation to it is having the correct mindset. Like originally, Anna and I were talking about marketing. We were talking, oh, let's tell the people about marketing. And really, marketing in itself is such a mindset, like to have the confidence to put yourself out there, to have the foresight to financially plan, because we all know marketing is super expensive sometimes and requires an investment. So, I have experience in all of it, and I'm really, really passionate about all the things, but definitely having this conversation around mindset and how truly your mindset is the foundation to making the next moves in your business, in your life, in all of these different ways. So I am really excited to be here today.
Yeah, you know what? We're talking about mindset, and I remember our conversation back in the days when I first came to you for the trainings, and you was telling me that phrase like you stop chasing everyone on Instagram and kind of step out of that game, and it's make you feel so much better, and
Yeah.
everything would start to kind of like come along, because you just
Yes.
chasing everyone's success and Instagram. And I been there too, like I totally feel you in this way, because I feel like when you reach particular limits and you start to like be in that top or not top, like, but in a higher level of like people where you know that like you educator and you consider to be a good educator, you start to compare yourself to the other educators who
Yes.
the same level with you, and you like that's kind of like breaking your head. Like it's just so hard because you feel like a competition, but you
Yeah.
also be friends with all of them, and then but you still compare yourself to the rest of the people, and tell me like how that's helped you to like when you just step outside of the Instagram game, like what's changed in your mindset.
Oh, that is so real. Like, really, I built my business on Instagram. Just, I'm sure like you feel, we also, Instagram 10 years ago, not to date myself, but yeah, 10 years ago was when I first started marketing myself on Instagram and doing all of this. And it was a much different space to where people were seeing your content and you're getting all of these, attention, ability to really use social media to build your business, where it's a lot more challenging now. So seeing other people around me, doing all of these things and pushing the limits of, I would say, pushing the limits of my own confidence to put my content out there, to put myself out there, it really started challenging me in a way that wasn't productive, right? Challenge is a great thing, but not all challenge is a productive thing, to where I'm looking at what other people are doing and seeing, well, do I need to do that in my business? Is that the one thing that's holding me back? And it's not, it never is. It's never what somebody else is doing is never necessarily the secret to what you need to do. You personally, when it comes to social media, do not know if what the other person is even doing is successful. You don't. You are under this totally, false assumption that everything that everybody does on social media is just working like a freaking charm. So when I stepped outside of that mindset of like, oh, everyone's doing everything and I should be doing everything, it just helped me to really focus on like, well, what do I actually want to do? Like, what does my life actually look like? Like, how do I actually want my day, my true hour by hour life to look like? And that is something you don't see on social media. Like, people are not sharing their hour by hour life. It may seem like we are sometimes, but we are not. It is not.
Stuff, but we don't show like the hard part behind it and the crying and like all of the other stuff what we have and we have to deal
with. Exactly. And the mess that life is and the imbalance that life is. So for me, stepping outside of that just helped me get really clear on what I was truly passionate about, where I actually felt like my purpose was, and the type of business that I wanted to have, like how I personally wanted to monetize, earn money in my business and what that looked like. And like you had mentioned when you're introing, I had tried so many different things, and all of those experiences super valuable. All of those experiences made me money. That's what's crazy about it, right? Made money doing this, make money doing that, build all of these different components of having a business, but never felt truly happy with the lifestyle that doing all of those things really looked like. So for me, it's more about the lifestyle. It's real life living, how I decide to fund my lifestyle. Yes, that has a part to do with it, but really, truly the lifestyle in real life, your family, your finances, your wellness, your health, like that to me is all so much more important stepping outside of Instagram, because you don't really see all that. You see what people's brands are, but not the real stuff.
Yeah, not the real crying, not the real like hustling, people think like you made it, but like, in the end of the day, you're still gonna have like all the pushing of the limits and like thinking if that's making sense or not. People don't see like people think like owning the brand, like product brands, it's the top, like being an educator and only the brand, it's like a top thing. I see a lot of people, and I'm truly saying it from like the deep of my heart right now, because I see a lot of people who's like, I want to be like you, I want to build like my brand. And I'm like, do you answer yourself a question? And I think that will be a cool question to answer to anybody, in general. Like, do you truly want to have a brand? Or it's just because society in the lash industry showing you that like it's cool to have a lash brand? Like, you don't know behind the scenes like so much, like how much it's going into the brand, into the marketing, into actually ordering the products, shaping the products, all of that. And I just heard like from my coach, it was so funny. He's the guy who built up a very successful brand in permanent makeup in a huge school, and he sold half of his share to the other partner, because he was like, couldn't deal anymore with the customer care, with constantly ordering, with constantly manufacture F up your product, like he's like, it was just not the living anymore for me. So I sold it. And then where I went online for a coaching and creating websites for the permanent makeup industry people and others.
I love that.
But he's like, I just couldn't deal with that anymore. And then, he's like, I had a lot of experience, so I just coach people of doing it, but like, I'm not dealing with that anymore. So I think like, I want to, that's like, I'm not saying don't build the lash brand, but I'm like, I want to say to people, lash brand to build, like, to find the products, it's not the hardest part. The first question what you have to answer is like, Do you know how you're going to advertise? Do you have enough audience to sell it to? Who you're going to sell it to? This is the questions that you need to answer first before you're going into the manufacturer. I feel like you either have to build a personal brand first as a lash artist, like a very strong one. So people already asking you and they want to know what do you use, and then build the brand. Or don't build it, because like I see people who's like 500 followers, and I'm not saying $500 followers, it's not, but it's 500 followers who's not posting about lashes as an educator, just posting for clients, you know, saying I want to have my brand. I'm like, what are you gonna do with that? Do you know it's like $1,000, $10,000 of buying a product from a quality manufacturer? And then, you know, who you gonna sell it to if you don't have an audience to sell?
It's such, I don't think people estimate the risk involved and the numbers game that truly manufacturing and sourcing the product, as you were saying, because you have to understand, like, so much. We're talking even the mega brands, $1 million lash brands. I've had the privilege of working with these brands and being in the meetings, the behind the scenes of, oh my God, this went wrong. And this, we're talking large teams of people. We're talking thousands, you know, over $50,000 on the line with orders that have gotten messed up, or, you know, incorrect quality, poor quality orders.
The fiber and didn't let
totally, totally, exactly, totally not acceptable fiber, totally not acceptable quality. These things, international contract law, you know, getting involved in these things, which is a huge thing. And like you were saying, we're not discouraging people to doing this, but just to understand that there is so much opportunity in this world, in this industry, in your own career, in your own life, that just because you see something being perpetuated on social media as the end all be all, doesn't mean that that is the correct choice for you. You know, me getting into retail, I wanted to do this groovy, you know, showroom with products in person because nobody had done that at the time. But really, after this whole experience of doing this, having all these different vendors and working with all these different companies, it really was just building relationships for me. That's what, in the end of the day, that's what it really was. That's what I thought was so cool about this idea of having products in person, was because I could meet other lash artists, because I could connect with these companies and maybe, you know, have some sort of influence on products that were being created, that were already being sold to thousands and thousands of people all around the world. So for me, it was more that was so appealing, because I had never really, you know, I was like a solo lash artist. This was many years ago too, before Instagram and community events, like all of these conferences that we have now in the industry. So for me, it was more that was really like my love language, is connection and community and collaborating. And I realized that it didn't take products to do that. It doesn't take products to do that. So I can do that, you know, in many facets of business. So I think it's just really insightful to take a step back and think about, again, like your mentor said, like, this is not my life. Like, this, like, who said this was the life I wanted to live? You know, and being really realistic about who you are, what your strengths are, and really how open are you, how, I would say, how open and how prepared you are to learn, because you and this position are needing to learn. You're going to be learning. You cannot look at it and say, well, I don't know how to build a website. Well, I don't know how to do internet marketing. Well, I don't know how to source products. I don't know how to deal with international contracts law.
It's like two things. You either learn, or you having the money to invest and you just paying people who already know this, but it's not going to be cheap. It's going to be expensive, because the people who already learn it, they consider themselves like expert in this, you know. Like, for example, I'm not knowing how to build the websites, you know. So, but I've been in the industry long enough, and I don't want to invest in somebody who doing it cheap, because I know price point come with coincidence, like you're paying cheap. Sometimes they build in a bad website, bad platform, they don't know design, they may not doing it correctly, then you're going to have a problem, because that's how I started. I find somebody who not charging much for the website, and we have to redo it, and then on top of it we redid it again, and then it's now slower working, so like when you go through this problem, you're like, I'm going to invest, right? So it's two things. You either learning it yourself, or if you don't have a passion or industry, but you do have investments from somewhere else, or you may just making that money so you can reinvest. So you don't learn it, but you paying somebody who know what they're doing and doing it fast for you. Like if you don't know targeting, ads, like you don't know how to do ads on Facebook, it's two ways, like you learning how to do ads, and it's even three ways. I will say, okay, you learn it on your own through YouTube, this is the one way. You paying somebody who know how to do it, and they teaching you fast way with all of the mistakes what they went through, this is the fastest way, but you're still paying for online class, for example, or maybe like one-on-one. And then the third way, you just paying somebody who doing it for you, so you don't have to deal with that, so then
so true.
But it's still money involved. And we're getting to the topic what we want to talk today with you, like the money and how to deal with the money in our industry, because we want to help people, right, to understand how to invest money, how to generate money. And if you in the still like a lower income starting out, like because you deal with a lot of beginners, you help rocks build up the school, so like people coming out of the school, just starting their new journey in the lash industry. And we know it can be tough sometimes, like sometimes it can be easy, depends on the person. Again, it depends on the person connection, if they have a lot of friends before, so they can like put them all into like a table. But but how to get with the money, like how to get around the money. We was just talking with you, like even like a thing, right? And like
it's like it's so easy to have this really fractured relationship with money. And like if like my experience, it was very fractured. My relationship with money is very challenging in the beginning of my career, because I had always worked in hospitality, so bars, restaurants, nightclubs, so it's fast money. And with fast money comes very, very poor money management, because if I'm working tomorrow, if I have like with lashes, if I have appointments on the books for the next couple of days, that means I have money. Even if I spend all my money today, I will have more money tomorrow. And I think it's two components. It's building more wealth and building more value, obviously building more revenue, learning how to make more money in creative ways. And then it's learning how to manage that money in a way that allows you to reinvest, which allows you, think of it like fuel in your car or electricity in your car. You have to charge it. The energy has to go back in the vehicle to propel you forward. And until you get both of those two things, earning more money and reinvesting more money back into your business, you literally cannot go anywhere. You can't go anywhere.
So well said.
You're just stuck. And then every opportunity that comes by, even if it's like, say, a block away, well, if you have no gas or electricity in your car, it doesn't matter if it's a block away, you still can't get there. Like we were saying, it doesn't matter if the online course is $100 or $500 or $5,000. You won't be able to get there because you haven't mastered one or the other of building wealth and reinvesting the wealth back in your business in a solid way. And I think that for a lot of people in the industry and just people in general have such a fractured relationship with money that it holds them back from actually doing one or two of those things, because it's challenging to do both at the same time. Make more money.
We never learn.
No, exactly.
Never have like a financial advisors in school or how to manage the money, what to do, like,
No.
like investment, it wasn't the thing. Like, I'm not gonna say that I'm like good with investments myself. Like, I'm good with investment into myself, because in one point in my career, I understood that as much as I invest into myself, I generate more. And I think I talked somewhere on a podcast, just like what I have in my mind, like, this is something what I'm always gonna have no matter where I'm going. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm still gonna have me, my hands, like, my brain. And that's the reason why I keep learning all the time. And I mean, business, it's this. Yesterday it was a photo, and I managed the photo so well. Like, like
Yeah.
I'm like, yay, I finally get it, And like, as soon as I manage the photo, it's reels and only the video, So
Yes.
I have to pivot and learn like a video editing and videos,
Yeah.
create like all of this light, what I have, like, and all of this stuff.
Yes.
In the end of the day, is like the person who pivot faster, that's the generating, income, and be able to be flexible in the business, but second, what I want to say is like, I always know how to save, just because I feel like I'm from Russia and I never had the money to start with. Like, my parents will give me like, probably like, if I'm gonna count like in the Russian money, it will be like a $1 per day when I go to university. That will be like for going into the bus, coming back from the bus, and eat something in a university, for example.
Mm.
And I managed, like, don't eat something in university, or eat something like low, so even from this dollar I will save a little bit.
Yes.
To in the end of the months, I can like buy myself something else, like, or
Yes.
like not 1 month, but like 2-3 months, I can buy myself like a blazer or jacket, because my family didn't have much money, and that's how I saw like the only one way to do it. And
Yes.
I break that limit as well throughout my career, because even when I start to generate money, I couldn't, like, I have that voice in my head saying, like, for example, I will stay in BCBG and buy myself like 3 dresses, and it was like $500 or $600 on like the register, and I'm like, and I know I'm making that like less than in a day, but in my head, that's my voice is like, you cannot do that, this is too much.
Yes.
Get that much in the one time, and I have to manage that voice, because I understood it. Like, I understood it's a limiting beliefs as well, like, what holding me from more money. But in the same time, I feel like I have to be so grateful for that childhood, what helped me to know how to save and not be
Yes.
afraid of working a lot. If I need to create, like, if I want, for example, in the next like, 2 months, like in 2 months, I will want to take like a coach for $10,000. And I know that will help me out so much to break some limiting beliefs and change my life. I will generate that $10,000 no matter what. Even if my business will not work right now, I will sit on like, I don't know, I will sit on Uber, I'll sit and I'll do that, because I know that will help me out in the future.
Yes. And I think that's like what we were chatting about in the beginning. Like, there's a lot of cultural, generational elements to money, and how we view our finances and our financial beliefs about what we, can achieve, and everything like that, And I think for a lot of people in the industry, and they first begin that fast money of like, me, I think I started doing bills for $50, but if I did 10 bills, there's $500. To me at that time, it was like the most money in the whole world. Yes, I'm like a millionaire. So I am going to go out and get Starbucks, and I am going to spend all this money, because again, tomorrow I got 10 more bills, and I'm even more money. And it really, really starts developing your psyche and how you perceive your own value and everything like that. And it gets into this very, very shallow way of doing business. And I really, truly believe that, working with so many artists of so many different skill levels over the years, that's where so much of our industry is stuck, is they are stuck in this cycle of earning money, spending money, earning money, spending more money than what they are truly profiting. And when I mean profiting, I mean the money that's left. After all the
About
things
that,
are
do you have
paid.
like a formula what they should do, like, because I feel like a lot of people don't even like counting, I see a
Yeah.
lot of people doing like, I'm doing $75 full set. I'm like, what are you really truly making from $75 if you do a
Yeah.
full set for $75?
Oh,
Like if you're still doing 2 hours for classic or 3 hours, like 3 hours for volume, mega volume. I don't know, like what's the
yes.
like, timing for everyone, it's different, but approximately, let's say 2.5 hours of
Mhm.
good 100% application, you know, um, what are you really making of $75?
Exactly.
I count for somebody, again, I'm gonna say like basics. Like per day, it's about $60 or $50. It's a rental cost per day,
Yeah.
depending where you rental. Like, I'm counting, I used to count it at New York prices. I think we
Yeah.
took with my team 1,500 per month, something
Mhm.
like that. If you're renting your own room, like your own suite, it's
Right.
1,000 to 1,500, so like divide it on like how many days you're working and figure out your cost per day per rent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think if you have utilities, if you have a light and water, maybe not. A lot of times if you're renting just a suite, they already cover your utilities, okay, like then you have
Mhm.
rentals, post how much products it's per one client, depending if you're using pre-made, if you're using pro-made, like, like I know glue, it's a cents, but still, like, how many glues do you buy per month? If it's
Yeah.
one divided, like, and figured it out. So we count like with the team, like I think like it was $15 to $20 per day
Mm.
or like lashing. No, $15 per client. On top of
Yeah. Per client. Yep.
$15 per client. On top of it, your rent.
I think that's a fair,
And I
and
didn't count
that's a fair.
insurance. I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
count
that's true.
insurance in it. So because everyone have like a different insurance, they either paying per year, like I have like a traveling insurance, including a PMU education. So it's like $5,000
Mhm.
a year because it's like, like this treatments can lead to
Right.
something and students working. So my insurance is a little different, but I know like usually it's $100 insurance for lash artists for months.
Yes.
Again, you have to take this $100, divide it on 30 days you're working, understanding what's your cost per day per spend.
Yes. And I think that I don't, I really haven't met a lot of artists and people in the beauty industry that can come up with that figure.
But like that's what I'm saying. Like if somebody listening to us right now, that will be a cool exercise, to
Yeah.
do to understand really, like, what are you doing actually after you, like, if you're thinking you generate
Yes.
$75, you count $75 times that much. Like I do 4 clients, I did like a 300 something. You did it because minus $100 from insurance, rental,
Yes.
of course, per clients, you actually make less.
Yes.
So
It's so much less than what you actually think you're profiting.
yeah, and then what will we recommend, like how people should, because I think a lot of people, like especially beginners, they asking like how much I should start pricing myself at,
Mm-hmm.
like what
It's so specific to what your setup looks like you said, what your overhead looks like. I would never suggest an artist to start at less than $100 for any service, because by the time you pay for product, by the time all of these expenses are taken, you will walk away with virtually nothing. I have done the calculations like what you're saying on some of the students and people that I've worked with. I've done the calculations on what they're charging, and they are making less than what working at Costco
that's
would
what I
be.
was saying. If you do 50 or 60, guys, if you're listening and you are, we coming from the heart. It's not judgmental at all. It's
Not at
literally
all.
we want to help because I've been there. I start for $40 for a full set, guys, going in somebody else's apartment, running on a subway. So I have to pay for my subway as well. On top of that $40, what I was saying.
Yes.
But what I wanted to say is like, I didn't count back in the days my expenses on like lash products and everything. And yes, I didn't have a rent because I was going to people's houses. But then still, like, because I was going to Subway and, like it was cold in New York in the winter time, and I will buy myself a coffee or hot tea. So this Subway back and forth already was $6, and the coffee for $3 is $9. So I end up making $31 and minus the product. Do I really make anything? Or I was just doing my hourly base, but having more responsibility and actually spending more time on like communicating to the Subway. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I didn't think this way. Like back in the days, I'm like, oh, I make $20 an hour, and I usually make 7.5. I work
Exactly.
on as a esthetician, in New York City. So I'm like, I actually making more, but no, because I didn't count like my transportation, like all of that stuff.
Yes. And I'm a big advocate of working with a professional to get these figures and these numbers worked out. These people, financial advisor and just a plain bookkeeper can help you get to this figure totally and completely down to the actual dollar and the penny, to actually understand your true costs and what you would need to price your products on, or price your product or service based on how much expense. And now, like what we were talking about before, like you said, the Subway and the coffee, the lifestyle. Oh my gosh, guys, the lifestyle that comes with this toxic cycle of wanting to take all these extra clients and do all of this. You are not cooking food. You are not buying groceries. That's
my favorite topic.
If you go right now listening to this podcast and you know who you are, look at your DoorDash and your Uber Eats and look at how much money you are spending. Just not only spending, but like, I'm sorry, it's not good eating. It's not good for you health-wise,
I know
it's not good.
It's like, it's a fancy way of eating, because I thought the same way. I'm going to say exactly my thoughts. I'm like, I'm working so much. I'm a business owner in New York. I had the studio. I have no time to cooking because I'm coming home at like 10 p.m. after like long day of working. I'm not cooking. I'm just ordering because I can. But then like legit, first of all, my health was okay. I was eating vegan and I tried to like, order like a good food, but the good food also come with the
so expensive.
I was not buying chicken fillet, I was buying nothing against it, but just saying like, I was buying more like a restaurant food, like cooked. And I know like exactly the restaurants, what I'm ordering from, like, so that's come with like sometimes $30 to $40 on receipt, because I was paying taxes on top of it. I pay the tips and delivery. And then I did it like sometimes 2 times a day.
Oh, I hear it all the time. And that's what so many people you are listening right now to this podcast that you're doing. And I'm telling you, it is one of the habits that is holding you back financially to actually being able to propel yourself forward. Because what you're doing is you're feeding yourself convenience when you cannot afford it. You cannot afford the convenience right now. You can't.
I wanted people, what I wanted to do, what helped me out? I want them to calculate.
Yeah.
In a yearly basis, what do they spend on this? That's what helped me when first of all, I was counting, okay, it's minus $100 on my regular day, I can totally reinvest. And I didn't think about back in the days I was bad with the reinvesting into the business, in a way of like, not in education, because again, I was like, I'm Russian, imposter syndrome, all of that. That's the reason why I'm always going to continue study. I feel like if you don't study, you die, but this is my philosophy, but, I was counting what I spend and I multiply it on a monthly basis and then on a yearly basis. And when I saw the yearly basis,
too much
traumatic, like that was giving me a traumatic experience, and I stopped. And I'm like, you know what? I can cook. I can bring my own.
exactly.
like to one-time order, except like, like it's not like a
every
limit,
day.
but like yeah, like
Right.
limiting like orders. Like for example, if you're spending like $70 because you're ordering 2 times as I was doing like last time, times like just 6 days a week because I was working 6 days a week, it's a $420 per week times. It's like minus almost one day for somebody. Like you just
Yeah.
don't work one day. You work one day for free with the clients.
Just for eating.
Just for eating. And then if I'm counting on 4, it's 1,600. And then I'm counting by 12, it's $20,000 per year just by ordering your food. Maybe not everyone as dramatic as I am, and New York was more expensive, of course, like in ordering. But even if it's $20 per day, on top of it is $5 coffee, so $25, times for like 25 times 6, it's 30. 25 times 6, it's why 25 times 6? Okay, it's 150 per week times 4, it's 600, and times 12, it's $7,000, guys. $7,000. What
So much.
You're not investing into yourself. Because for $7,000, you can have a one coach working with you and you can produce a higher results. You can invest into new education, new class, or even reinvest in something else, or reinvesting into the ads, or take new class. It doesn't have to relate to lash industry. It can be coach, can be personal coach, can be
oh my gosh, even health.
breaking
exactly. Health.
health.
7,000 in health could get you chiropractic care. It can be your
Chiropractic,
whole nutrition. It's
massage,
crazy.
nutrition,
Yes.
all of that. So that helped me. I hope because I want to like
Yeah.
really when you counting on 12, you're like, well, what motivates you? Maybe you want like Chanel purse and you always want it. I don't know, for yourself, for your own thinking, because you want to prove it something to yourself. This is something like some gift for yourself if you just stop spending $25 per day.
I believe it. I firmly believe this so much, Anna. Like it really, last year was my year of breaking a lot of these habits myself, because I really was looking at my business, like I said, from a lifestyle perspective. And I'm thinking, what is spending? Because for me, it was coffee. For me, it's coffee. Coffee is like major issue. Like when it comes to like, oh, I need more coffee because I'm tired. Oh, because I'm not sleeping well. So I'm in a hurry. Yeah, I need
that's fine.
$8, couple times a day, no problem. Not only is this like hurting my health, it's literally draining money from my pocket. And it's doing it in such a sneaky way. You
don't feel that little like you don't feel that little expense, like you don't feel this little expense. It's like $8 here, $8 there, but when you count it together, like then it's becoming
it's too much. And I'm telling you guys, like, if you're listening to this and more than likely, I don't talk to anyone that says they're completely satisfied with where they're at in their business, that their brand is perfectly where they're dreaming of it to be. I don't know anyone like that, because, like you said, we're always learning, we're always works in progress. And I think that anybody listening to this podcast probably feels that way. That's why they're taking the time to listen and try and learn. So any of those things that you're doing that are draining your resources and draining, I want to say, your health, because it's your health, and taking a toll on your mental health. If you're doing your finances and you're like, why I'm working, I hear this all the time, I'm working all the time. I'm working all the time. I'm breaking my back and I cannot make more money.
It's either or. It's either you're just starting out and you have no money because you're just starting out, or either like you're working so much that you don't have time for health or anything. That's so interesting because I was just listening to somebody and it's really stuck into my head now. Because I'm myself like workaholic and I burn myself a lot of times. Sometimes like I'm burning so much that I'm like, I can't work for 2 weeks. Like you can like laying down and don't do anything because I'm just tired of doing a lot all the time. But like I listened to this guy and it's really stuck into my head, Liz, to really making the money and enjoy that you making the money, you actually do have to have day offs, and the rest of the area of your life, except business, like, like business, for example,
Yes.
you gotta have like the whole other area of your life, like friendship, family, life,
Okay.
love relationship, like, relationship with yourself in order. Because if you're only in the business, like you will never break the limits. You will never break the
No.
limits of money making, because for the balance in life, you need to be everywhere. And then, the one challenge what he give to his like people who he working with, it's like 2 months in a year, like you don't work like at all,
That's
you know.
amazing.
And then the people just give them the feedback, because he was doing it for a really long time, or like 2 days in a 2 days in the week, like you don't work at all, you're not thinking about work, you're really spending the best time with your family or friends or whatever make you happy, so like you happy because you have to recharge. And everyone who say that they was like making more than before,
Yeah. It's
some,
just not surprising.
somehow, without like understanding how the energy work. And I have my own personal kind of thing, like I went to Bali and I didn't work for months. Like I was legit not doing anything for business. We was not posting anything on my personal, like on my Instagram for business. We was
Mhm.
actually showing my Bali journey. And my
Yeah.
sales for this month for products was the best, like the best months we sell, and it's not doing it at
I
all. Like
love it.
not doing it. And like, how's it working? Like the universe just give me the money because I need them, because I'm spending it on myself.
I love that though. It's really, and I think that has so much to do with like how we're wired and our habits and how we saw our parents working and viewing work as a means to an end. Like, they're a lot of our parents, my parents, it's like work until you die. That's all it is. Like, what do you mean? And like the culture, if you're not sacrificing, if you're not unhappy. We were talking about that with my renters. Both of my renters, all my renters are immigrants, actually. Every single one of them are immigrants, come from immigrants' family. And she was like, man, my dad's giving me such a hard time about, my life. And tattoo artists, they make great money when they structure their, they work for the day at day rates, thousands of dollars. And she's like, he's giving me a really hard time because he's like, oh, you don't seem like you work that much. She's like, I am. I'm working a lot. When I am working, I'm working a lot. And it's just amazing because the way that different generations view work is so different, and like productivity is so different, that people would never believe that you can take a month off and have the best sales ever, and have this well-rounded life that is rich, that you are nurturing an intentional life that is rich with all the things that you need to be a complete whole integrated person.
Mhm.
And that is the concept that so many people are losing, I think, in the industry, and just all over. They're losing the concept of like being a whole person. Like whole people are the people that can make millions.
Whole and complete.
Yes, whole and complete, that you're taking care of your mental health, that you're taking care of your financial fitness, you're taking care of your physical fitness, you're taking care, like these are all things that you have to intentionally try and do. And finances allows you to do it. That's why I think people's perception with money is like really skewed. Me, I'm not a person into the brand name things. I never really have been. I got into it a little bit when I'm younger, but quickly just like, I don't know, it never gave me the good feelings that I thought like it would give me. I never felt it.
If we're going to talk about the psychology, like this is like
Yeah.
two things, like financial coach will tell, not financial coach, but like it's a two different perspective of it, right? Some people who will be in like money coach or whatever, they will like buy it so you can be closer to that type of people who buy it all the time and have money, right? I personally myself like believe into everyone know they like financial gains, like in a way, like like we should have like some intuition what will work for us personally, like And the way to know it is, I think, analyze every time when you actually do have like a 1 month, like a good money month. What did you do? What you didn't do? Like, you know, what you done for that? Like maybe that's your internal, how you felt internally. It was just a good,
Yeah.
you know, and that's the reason, because I do believe like energy attract energy, you know. For me, like, for example, for me, like, money come usually when I'm investing into myself, more into like the education or coaching or something else. It's just like kind of like reimbursing in a very different way. It's like, I'm gonna just sign up, like I just gonna have like few students sign up from out of nowhere. We didn't even advertise it, just text me on Instagram, like without any, you know, like anything, like,
Yeah.
hey, I like just book the class with you, I want a private, you know. But that's what I noticed for myself, and I feel like everyone will have their own. But I also, like, in a way, like, I'm a logistic person as well. You know, I never had the like, I never had the money before to have the brands, you know, like, and as coming from
Right.
the family where we buy our like clothes like legit once in 3 months for the season and leave that
Yeah.
clothes for a couple of seasons, you know. So like of course when I came to America and I started to generate the money, like, you know, of course, especially here, like you can go to TJ Maxx, like, you know, when I was like 21
Yeah.
here, you're like,
Get
yeah,
all the things.
you can buy like the brands with the sales, you know. But definitely when I
Yeah.
started to generate money, I started to buy the brands, and I thought like it would be super cool. And I still, and I do have the, I do have a brands. I'm not saying like don't get it if you want it, you know. But like I remember um my first Dior wallet, what I bought for like $2,000, and it's legit in 4 months, like wear it in my purse all the time, went like crusted or something like
Yeah.
that. And I'm like, what the hell? You know, like,
Oh,
what the hell? Like, it's a 2000
yeah.
wallet. In my head, it was like, it's something will gonna be unbreakable.
Yeah. Forever. It's
It's
forever.
gonna be forever, you
$2,000.
know.
Yes.
And I know you can go into like Dior and give it to them, but I really like that particular wallet, you know, and I think
Yeah.
stop to doing it so they can replace you for something else. But I'm like, but still in my head, I'm like, what the hell going on? And then the more you buy it, the less enjoyable it is. It's like you don't even enjoy
Yes.
it for 5 seconds. Like you enjoy it in
That's,
the second,
yeah.
you don't enjoy it anymore.
Exactly. I mean, and I think everybody's different, you know, that's just my, when I'm in tune with myself, this is how I feel. Like, this is not something I look at with such enjoyment and pleasure and confidence that it just, you know, it fuels me up. Whereas like spending money on travel and experiences and memories, that like fuels me up. I'm so motivated. Like, I'm motivated before that experience, I'm motivated after that experience. It does something, yeah, it does something so much for me. So for me, like, that's just how my value system is set up. So again, like, that's how I want to invest in myself and my business, is a means to do that, you know. So setting yourself up and understanding your true value system. And that was another thing about having like the type of business that I had, that I always had to be present for. Like, my true value isn't brand names and like, I guess, like this visual way of presenting wealth. It's like security and freedom. That's like my thing. Like, security to say, no matter what happens, I will be good. No matter, you know, what events in life happen, I will be stable and be able to overcome that. And then freedom to say, okay, well, maybe this day I don't want to do anything. Maybe this day I just want to just hang out and just spend time with my kids. Like, that is truly the top of the mountain for me, you know, at my age. I think it's an age thing too.
Of course, when you
Yeah.
have one the values, when you go into like 30s, you have a different values. When you go into like your 40s,
Yes.
different values. And of course,
Exactly.
it's all good for every age and like experience and live it, you know. But
Yes.
knowing finances, it's something important, like knowing your how much you really make, you know, like what do you really want to make per hour, and estimating that cost. You know, like we talked about that previously before we jumped into like the actual recording.
Yes.
Like I was saying about that circle, what I see in the in the lash industry, it's like when we're talking to a new B lash artist, you know, they like, I don't have the money to invest into your course, or I don't have the money to invest to something else, you know, like mostly we consider like to the courses, because I started talking and I'm like, yeah, I really want to increase my retention. My retention is not good. That's why I'm feeling like I can't increase my prices, because I'm not really feeling the best, you know, like I don't feel like the best that I'm providing to my clients. That's the reason why I can increase the prices. But then when you start saying like, okay, but I have the solution for you, I have a course, and I'm saying it from like deep understanding that we deliver so many results to other students, you know, then it's an answer. It's like, but I don't have the budget for it. And then I'm like, yeah, but then it's like circle, because until you get the budget and take not my course, but any other course, what you believe will actually give you the results to, you start to believe in your knowledge and you believe in the providing, then you be able to increase the prices, you know, and when you increase prices, you finally break in this circle. Like, I don't have a budget. I don't know like where to take the money from, because you're probably not generating enough of the income to overcover your expenses. I'm like, I am being in a lash industry, when I've been in the lash industry and I owned a studio, you know, like as a solo artist, I was making a great money. I was actually feeling like, that's amazing. I'm just coming, I'm making $1,000 and I'm leaving. Like, yes, I work a lot, but like, it's just $1,000 per day. Why not? You know, like, and then I throw on the top of that sometimes like the permanent makeup, and then like sometimes dollars, and I'm like, yay, you know, like this is so amazing. That's the reason why I never knew the other side of the industry. You know, I went through all of the stages, but I guess like by the end, like I forgot that it is a stage where you don't generate. But for me, as I was knowing how to save, I always had the money, or I will take a credit card, you know, like I always had the money to spend on my education, just because I knew that's going to give me more. And that's the reason why, how I build up my prices. I was knowing that I'm one of the best by now, because I invest so much, and my technique, the best technique in New York City, like maybe like it was 3-5 lash artists on all Manhattan who did what I did, you know, so it's like, oh, I don't have like much competition. So that's why I can charge what I charge. You know, that's my idea of breaking the circle, you know, investing into your education. So you start feeling that you own the price, what you're asking, because if you don't, you own what's happening, people start telling you why you're so expensive. When I start to feel that I own that price, I didn't care. They can tell me whatever I want. I will not take it personal, because I know my price. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel
like the confidence.
Like, I just feel like that's not going to work one without the other. Like, if inside of you somewhere you feel you may not do the best job, because you know the other people around you may do better, that's the time when you have that thought. It's investment into yourself to get to that level that you don't even feel it. You like, you know, you own your shit. Like you know, you own it. So even if somebody telling you that you're not good enough, or why it's your price, my objection always was like, why is your price so high? I'm like, because whatever, you don't want it, you don't want it, you know, like I know I know what I'm doing, so it doesn't matter. And then usually, because when people feel that confident energy, they like, oh, okay, you know, if they have that budget, they will be like, okay, she know what she's talking about, I want to go to her. You know what I mean?
It's the confident energy. I think part of what you're describing too is that people are not confident in making the investment because truly they're not confident in themselves and their ability to, you know, really take that investment and run with it, because we all know that is like the biggest component to it. And I think that not making the investment is the first thing holding them back, and then not fully investing themselves in the investment that they're making when they take the course, that they're really digesting it, that they're really taking that technique and practicing it, putting it into practice in their technique, in their, you know, taking 2 days off to do models and whatever it looks like. And if you know, like you said, in your heart that is not you, that is not something that you would see yourself doing, then maybe this is not your true passion. And we all know that, passion, you need it.
Yourself. Like, it's okay.
Be real. It's okay. I love to give people space and hold that energy in that space for them to say, like, is this the right thing? Is this something that you feel like can really be the thing to take you to where you are trying to go in life? And are you passionate about getting to that place in life? That's my question, because we can give people all the tools, the techniques, stories of our own experience, but it has so much to do with getting in tune with what you are truly, truly willing to do and sacrifice for, like the not eating out, the not, wasting all your money. Are you ready to commit to not doing it, to not eating out? Yeah.
You are a beginner, right? So let's separate, like, for example, somebody who already making, they can save money on like not ordering out,
Yes.
and raising them prices, right? But the beginners, like that's a completely different, like they still don't know where to even take a client, like where to get the clients, like, and how I'm a beginner can charge what people like 2 years experience charging, like how can I even charge like $100 because it's like so much for somebody to even like ask for it, and they like, how can I even like invest into the good products? Or because I get that sometimes it's like, oh, but like I can't invest into the good products. I'm buying products from Amazon, like Sky Glue. And I'm like, you can't buy a Sky Glue. Why? Because it's banned in UK from the ingredients what it has, like, so like it's not good. Like you can't buy a bad product and asking for good price from the services. Right. You side will feel bad that you're using the cheap products. That's all energy again. Like you're not gonna feel like you're creating a great services. Your retention may be good. Plus, on top of it, like Sky Glue, let's just say it's very bad for your health. Your own health to breathe in, and from like doing it, like But then, if you have that in your mindset and you don't want to invest into better products, you can always find a solution, like exactly. Like, come on, guys, you're not fully booked yet, like you sitting at home and not doing as many clients yet, and then you feeling you're not generating money. It's a tons of side hustles. Like if you don't want to get a coach, like you don't have money on it, you can Google or YouTube side hustles. What people do for side hustles. You can do Uber Eats. People who do an Uber Eats doing $6,000 a month. Okay.
Yeah. Why today with technology, like never before, there's so many opportunities.
That's like the easiest opportunity what I can think of. Like if you're just starting out, you want to make the career happen for you. And for example, you don't know where to take a clients, but you want to invest into the ads, but you don't have the budget for the ads. Again, go to Uber Eats, work for 3-4 hours, generate your $100, invest this $100 into the ads.
Yeah.
You invest it into the ads, you generate more income for the lashes. Maybe you need to do it for first month or two, to have a better products that you're working with and to start to generating, like it's two ways. You can, again, invest into the ads, do inside hustle, or you can go into entrepreneur events, women events, and just start to say that I'm a lash artist and do lashes, give away the cards, that's also like that you spending the time to do that marketing, so it's so many other ways.
And what I always tell beginners, that's so good that you brought that up, between like experienced people at this point, this kind of flexion point in their career versus beginners. As a beginner, or as we always use this example, like if you're going into partnerships with somebody in a business and you don't have money, like investment money, you have sweat equity. That's what you have. you have sweat equity where you're going to work it, you're going to put your sweat into the business, and that's your contribution. And that's really how you have to look at your own business. If you don't have the money, you have sweat equity. You have, like you said, if you're not booked for the day, you have then the time to spend the day doing the model, taking whatever photos, videos you can possibly come up with yourself, because we all have a phone. Doesn't matter if we don't have money. You know, we have a
Sometimes
phone.
we even have the 14 iPhones, still not having the money, you know?
Exactly. You've got this. You've got this tools like never before, like Uber Eats, like your phone camera, freaking amazing camera, amazing video, all of these things. You have these things. So instead of looking at what you do not have, oh, I don't have a coach. Oh, I don't have, you know, all of this money to invest in my business for ads. There has to be a breaking point of, well, then how do I get it? How will I achieve it? Or again, we will just stay stuck. We will just say, okay, well, I don't have the ads, so I'm not going to get any more customers. So, you know, like this is the mindset. This is the mindset that isn't going to be progressive to you, especially in this industry in 2023 and going forward into the future. It takes more now than ever to be successful in building this lifestyle that everybody getting into this industry thinks that they want to build. And I believe this. If you do not have the investment money, you do not have, you know, the $100,000 to invest in your business straight out of the bat, then you have sweat equity. And it just means that you are going to have to work a little bit harder than somebody maybe who just has the cash laying around. You know, we all have known those entrepreneurs with the rich husbands. We've heard it all.
And
you
then,
know,
I mean, of course, if we're gonna like being completely real in this podcast, a lot of times you will see as they did all of that themselves.
alone. Yeah.
No, alone, but it's like in the back end, there will be not. So like don't always think like the story, what you see, the successful story, what you see, it's like always just like the person just making it from the ground zero, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes like a lot of times like from the ground zero it's take a tons of time. Like I've been in the industry and I've been from ground zero, you know. I never had the rich husband.
Yes. Same.
That's 6 months ago, you know, so like I'm completely myself in this whole situation, you know. So that was my sweat equity. Like
Yes.
as I mentioned, I started at you know, like $40 an hour, not an hour, $40 in set, you know, going in New York City because me and my husband moved, was both immigrants in New York. You know, I finished aesthetic school, didn't know anybody, so I can just go and like, I didn't even know where to get clients.
Right.
I didn't have Instagram, guys. It was no Instagram, you know.
Yeah.
Probably I couldn't do like the giveaway, like the cards, but I didn't think
On
about
the street.
it on the street,
Yeah.
you know?
Sweat equity.
Yeah, sweat equity. I was just doing everything what I can. I'm like, I'm working with aesthetic, and I will be like, hey, I also do lashes all the time. You know,
I
I'm
actually
feeling the people because
Yes.
it's different industries, but I was like saying to every single person who I knew that I doing lashes on the side, you know, and that's how I started gaining some clients.
I love that. I mean, honestly, guys, like when I started in the industry building my first clientele, I got a part-time job at Ulta. I got a part-time job at Ulta near where my house was, where I was lashing. So I could like, you know, hey, and the girls that I worked with, you know, like the girls that I worked with, like, hey, you know, I do lashes. Like, let me just practice on you. Let me do this. And it was like, again, time. I had time. At that time, I had the time. So I was going to fill that time with things that supported my end goal, which was at that time building lash business.
You know,
and
yeah, back in the days we didn't have like a Uber Uber job or something what you can do like on the phone.
No.
If, for example, you're a lash artist, but you know how to do like a copywriting text and you're great in it, get a part-time copywriting job, help other people in the industry who in the industry, in the same beauty industry as you are, but have a no time to write. Like I hate writing,
Exactly.
like, and if you're great with the copywriting, you can help me with like writing my post or
Yes.
email marketing, and I will be happy because at least you
Yes.
understand my business, like not saying particular,
That's
it's tons of other people.
Yes,
They need.
exactly. And that's where my business has really led me, is saying, okay, well, I have all of this expertise. I have all of these things that I'm good with. This is how much work I want to be doing every week. So for me, copywriting and creative direction and doing all of these different things have again allowed me to grow my business in a way that is cohesive to my end goals, and so it really is, it is what you make it. I'm a firm believer of that. I really believe that. My husband, myself, we work really, really hard for what we have, and I just believe where there's a will, there's a way. I really, really, truly, truly believe that. Like, words to live by, to die by. Like, where there is a will, there is an
Yeah,
actual way.
like
There is.
I used to be so like naive about a lot of stuff, I used to be naive about students saying, yeah, I don't have time right now or something else. And I really truly believe there was like no time for real or no like investment. But being in the sales right now and working with a lot of people who coach me on sales and everything, I just understood that that's just not like, it's all correct, like not correct, but like polite way of saying I'm not interested,
Yeah.
or
Like, it's
ready,
not a priority. It's
or it's
not a
not a
priority for
priority.
me.
I'm not
Hmm.
interesting, it's not a priority, or I'm not ready. And all
Yeah,
of that, all of these three things, stopping you from your own personal growth.
so true. I really, really believe that. And I think that so, so much of it is internal. So I hope that everybody on this podcast learned a little something and take some time after this podcast to do some really deep self-awareness reflection. I think that is some great shadow work to do, and to really dig deep into, okay, can I be real with myself about the things that are really holding me back, both financially? We talked so much about the financial, the mindset, which are so connected. It is so, so, so connected. Um, and to really take a step back and say, okay, well, then what would I be willing to change to actually break through those things that are holding me back? What will I personally be willing to sacrifice to break through these things? And to really ask yourself that question, and to truly sit with it, meditate with it, have a moment with it, have a week with it, because we're at the beginning,
Write it
of
down.
the new year. Yeah, write it down. Exactly. Revisit it. See how you feel on a different day, and take it slow, because these are big questions to ask. I really feel like these are big questions to ask yourself.
It's better to ask now than later. Like, the same
Yeah.
thing as like I played the game being a salon owner, and it didn't make me happy.
No.
But society told, like, it was like society thing, like you lash artist for that particular amount of time. What's next? I need a salon. What's
Yeah.
next? I need a product line. What's next? I need a teaching. What's next?
Yes.
Stage.
Traveling. Yeah.
Being in like traveling around the United States. And then I would not say I done it to my highest potential. Like, you can always travel even more,
Right.
teach more classes. Then I was like burning myself out so much. I had like 4 classes in 1 month, and I was like not eating well, not sleeping well. Like, my body changed, like
Yes.
because of the diet, you never eat on the road as much, then I wasn't home. I was home 4 days out of the months,
It's
and
not
then
it.
I'm like, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm not doing it. What am I doing? I mean, and I
Yeah.
love teaching,
Of
that's truly
course.
my passion, like the truly, truly my passion. I love teaching, but it's like, it's just burning myself out if I do that much
Yeah.
in months, and if I do travel, because then I'm losing my lifestyle, like healthy habits, eating well, exercising, but then salon, I wasn't, I made a great money, but like having employees wasn't make me happy.
Oh,
And
it's and
period
oh,
from making and I'm like, I'm not saying it's bad. Having salon, it's awesome. Somebody are great managers. You gotta just
yes.
if it's you or not, and truly say to yourself, if it's me. I'm not a great manager in like people who's like, I have to teach and then they will leave me. I'm very personal person. Like, I love people. If I give them my time and like energy, I truly want them to stay with me. And I know in this industry, from the salon owners, a lot of times they will leave and it's normal. Or you got to find somebody who have that, like not want to leave at all, never want to work for them,
Right.
like, and know how to do it and willing to learn that and be okay with that. Because right now I have ambassadors who own in salon, have like 4 employees, and she complaining to me, like, I just give them everything. They get fully booked. I finally get them to
And
fully
leave. Yeah.
she's like, it's create me a tons of stress.
Issues. Yeah.
And I'm like, I learned for myself right away. I'm okay with like having on like employees. Like I do have employees like overseas there.
Yeah, exactly.
I have like my story making in Russia, and I have like my producer who helped me with online classes in Russia, but they're all digital workers.
Yes.
And sometimes I like keep saying to myself, maybe I want salon, like because I moved to Arizona. I'm like, no, Anna, remember?
Yeah. You're like, no, never mind.
Because then you got to think about like booking them all, like make sure that
Yeah.
clients that they don't complain, and some people love it. You just need to
Yeah.
truly know who you are. And that's the whole point of what Tianna was saying, like say to yourself the truth. It's something
Yeah.
what you see on Instagram and you want it, or it's something what it's your truly passion, like you're a manager in soul. You always want to manage
Yeah.
people.
A leader. A
like,
leader. Yes.
I am a leader, but I just don't like dealing with
Yeah.
that, for example. And I have to
Exactly.
go through that to understand. But
Yes.
I never thought, I never asked myself that question before I opened the salon. Do I want to manage people? I always just
Yeah.
thought the idea of having a salon at school for social media. Not like
Yeah.
social media, but for myself, I will feel
Yeah.
different.
Ego. Ego.
I
Yes.
did salon, I open it in
Yes.
New York
So
City.
fancy.
Like, yeah. It's exactly what it is. Like, oh my gosh, I'm saying it to myself right now. And I'm like, how childish I was, because I
I
could
feel the
have a
same.
true conversation with myself and answer simple questions. Like, did
Yeah.
it truly make me happy? Will I actually generate more income? Will it's going to give me more freedom? Or
And
if
I
it
think,
is,
oh,
a lot of times it will give you a freedom, but can be like 5 years later. Are you willing to sacrifice your 5 years?
sacrifice.
The possibility of success in like 5 years, it's finally will
Yes.
generate you that you can leave, because you can put some SEC, like the manager or
Yeah.
operator in the salon, so you can leave.
And that's the great question, is like, are you willing to put then everything for those 5 years and be 100% committed to the one goal of saying, I will be able to step away in 5 years. 5 years is the absolute longest that I will give this project until I can step away. That's like the best question to ask yourself. Like, truly. And like what you just said, like feeling childish, that's how I felt. I was even telling Roxy when she opened the school, I said, opening my first business with the retail and the training and doing all of it at once, still seeing clients, it felt like college for me. It felt like university for me, like doing all these different things to learn it, to make these connections, to put in the work and teach myself all these skills. And then at the end of 4 years, you want to go into your internship then, where you use those skills. And after the internship, then you really are like highly educated and clear about where the direction you want to go. And I'm like, man, I feel so childish, like spending 4 years in my business, the first 4 just doing what I felt like my ego was like driving me to do, like my ego in the driver's seat, like driving me down this crazy road. And I don't want to be in the car anymore.
Right now, where's the ego, where there's not. That's already a huge understanding of life, because I know that some people will still leave without understanding where the ego talking and where you're talking, like I know a lot of times, like ego is great, like we got to make a friends with him, like we just have to like
Yeah.
make a friendship, like not go
Yeah.
against, but make
Understanding. Yes.
understand whether it's an ego or not, like um and why do we doing what we're doing, like the same,
It's
like
so true.
what will stop you from go to and do side hustle job, it can be your ego.
Ego. That
It's gonna
is so
be like,
true, Anna.
for example, if I will need to go and do some Uber Eats right now because I need like $6,000 extra in my budget into like running the ads for my products, right? What gonna stop me from doing it for growing my business? Like technically thinking like growing my business, that will be my ego, because it was like, how come I'm Anna
Have to do this.
I did 4 classes a month, making $50,000 a month, like just gonna go and do this.
Yes. Yes. But it's the
If you
ego.
think about it in the same time, it's like this is stopping you from growing your business. And sometimes in business, it can be different leaps and different turns and different things. Sometimes you gotta adjust the same thing. Like, why I didn't, okay, now I'm thinking, I'm like, I didn't even do it during COVID. And I can totally do it during COVID. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he was sitting and not generating any income.
Same.
But I will never even think about it, because I will be like, what? I'm a salon owner. I have a salon.
Yeah.
Like, I will not do it. But then I'm sitting and I'm like, I do a lot of free stuff. We was doing free Instagram lives. We was creating a whole community. But then it was all just like from the deep of the heart to help people during that timing, but then in the same time, like I'm sitting, I'm paying my rent in New York.
Yeah.
Like I paying the rent for apartment and my salon suit, because they was not covering it up,
Oh,
it's like $6,000 I'm paying out of my pocket every month, but I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. Now I changed, 2 years changed my ego completely,
oh, I know. My ego, buried that ego. Like there's nothing more important at this stage where I'm at mentally, emotionally, physically, that my ego could take from me, that would stand in my way. And like you said, you got to have that open communication with the ego, like talk to it, understand, okay, well, you're crazy, like I'm gonna do this because this is what needs to be done. And I think that's really the hard conversation that people listening to this podcast need to have, is with their ego, as to what it's going to take, how far they're willing to take it, and how much they are willing to put their pride aside, make the sacrifices necessary to, again, achieve that end goal, that end value, to really honor whatever it is that they value. If it's a Chanel bag, if it's like me, experiences and travel and freedom, whatever that looks like for you is different for everyone. But if you're willing to put that on a pedestal and do everything in your power to really uphold that value, then you will literally be unstoppable. Like, truly.
I think like the first thing to answer, if they want to like wrap it up in the end and like just really go into a notebook and write something down, it's like, why do I doing what I'm doing?
Yeah.
What's my end goal? Like, what do I want to achieve? Even if it's like 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 10 years from now, where I want to be. Like if I want to be financially free, that's a one thing, because financially freedom, it's have to generate it by like a recurring income. Like it can be after webinar what lead you to the online classes. It's not going to be financially freedom, because you still have to be in that system to keep generating, because like things can change, but that it is a possibility. Or I'm going to work for 5 years very hard, but then I'm buying my first house, what I'm going to rent.
Yeah.
And then I'm buying my second house in 2 years after that, because I'm going to continuously work in that much. And by the age of like 40, I have 6 houses, what I'm renting. And that's how I'm gaining the revenue, and I can live out of this money and travel the world. Like maybe because one of your priorities and the goal is traveling the world and live financially freedom, like meaning that you can be anywhere and still gain that income, you know, stuff like that. Like, what motivates you to work? Because, sometimes maybe lashes is not like like it is passion, but sometimes like I know that it can get like a little like,
Oh,
right?
right.
But in the same time, like if you have that end goal, like you're not just artist who just gonna do that the rest of their life, even when they're 50. You
Yeah.
gotta have understanding why. So, like you can generate something out of it. Like, and again, if it's housing, Airbnb, or you just want to like save like all of the money and like by age of 30 and or 40, go to
Right.
and live in Spain, or Mexico,
Run away.
and
Yes.
just like be there because it's so much cheaper and you're just gonna buy a house there and like just retire at that time and maybe do like fun work in this on the side, but give yourself that end goal, not day by day. As we
Yeah.
talked at the beginning, day by day, it's
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna buy a coffee, I'm gonna buy this food, I'm gonna buy this. But having a goal, why will you not do it? And what's the benefits you will gain later? Again, I say in $70 a day saving, it's revenue $20,000
Oh,
at
100%.
the end of the year. Can be your first down payment for a house.
Man, the
like,
perspective.
right? It can be a first down payment in a house, maybe not like in the $1 million house, but like if you want to just have like a houses for recurring revenue and rent them and or Airbnb them, that can be a $300,000
Yes.
type of house, so or apartment, whatever. But that's some ideas what we, I guess, want to put in you with Tianna.
Absolutely. I agree. I think just think outside the box when it comes to using the tools that we have. It's 2023. It's 2023. We have to start breaking this mindsets and really looking at the world we live in. We have AI. There's going to be robots. There's like all
Gonna
of
be
this
robots.
stuff.
They doing the
Yeah.
robots for the eyelashes. I'm sure
I
it's
know.
viral. I posted like a year ago and my
Yeah, it's
went
crazy.
viral. And then I think Tessie and the Lashcast podcast and Tessie, do you remember Paul and Tessie? The
I
people who
think
organized
so. Yeah. Yes, the couple, the duo. Yes,
they
yes.
know the owner. So they talk to
Mm,
me like, this is legit. This is legit. We know the owner.
interesting.
They've been working on it for that really like many times. And that it was a one Russian girl who went there and she's a blogger and she videotaped the whole process from the beginning to the end to the process of it. And that's content that this year already went like super viral because that's legit.
Wow.
They start taking like clients. I don't know if it's a paid clients yet or if it's just the clients who like, okay, to try it, but this is going,
Yeah. It's happening. Technology is literally changing the world that we live in faster, so much more rapidly than how technology was like moving quickly, coming up, but now it is like turbo lightning speed, meta universe, all of these things. So, now is the time. Now is the time that we break our mindsets open to be creative on how we live, start valuing what we want, the lifestyles that we want. Because I truly, truly believe the world that we live in is going to look extremely different, very, very different than what, it has looked like in the past. And I think that in order for us to be successful in this, ever-changing world, we need to be adaptable. We really do. We need to adapt.
I mean, yeah, I do believe in that. So we're gonna wrap in that on the adapting thing and
yes,
let you go and think, write down some questions for yourself, like what make you happy, why do you want to do what you want to do, what's your long-term goals. Please count your revenue and like your in the daily to day like basis. Maybe that's going to open up something for you where you can see where you can save or not save, like
yes,
amazingly, like in our world, you be able to learn something from, like very expensive to a very non-expensive, like
so true.
or like some online courses, like I just generate like a mini course for like a $79, and it's a lot of value. It's for somebody who like cannot afford like a bigger course, like, or something like that, but it's still like tons of information about like direction, wet look, wispy. And it's like not only me, but a lot of people, like other people have that courses where it's like, it's not $5,000, but if you feel like you need some help with like your lash work, you don't have to go for a $2,000 course, like in person, which is, I still believe in person, it's the best. If you still don't know like
Yes.
tweezers and still having a struggle of like holding, isolating, that unfortunately in online, that's not possible to like tell you. But again, like it is a possibility. Where's the will? This is the way. Like when you want something,
Yes.
find a way, like you find how to generate that extra income or how to do a payment plan. Just know that why you want to do it, like, what it's going to help you with, and find out and breaking these beliefs that you can. Like, let's not have the word in our vocabulary, we can, because then it's a victim mode. Like
Yes.
that's a victim mode. Like it's just, if you say I can, that's it. It's stopping your brain from thinking how I can.
Yeah. It's so true. I love that.
Okay, thank you so much, Tianna, for being here with us, share your wisdom with all of the listeners. I'm so excited. You've been in my life for a really long time, and I'm really
I
happy that we be
know.
able to stay friends through all of the timing and still communicate. And thank you so much for being in my podcast and share with everyone your your years and years of wisdom and in financing and everything. So thank you for being
Thank you,
here.
Anna. I appreciate you so much.